Hi, Terry here and Belle from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a gift box. It measures 4 inches wide, 4 inches deep and 4 inches high. So it's a great size to hold a gift, or you could just fill it with lots of sweet treats. Now I've used the Sweet Songbird stamp set together with the coordinating Songbird builder punch. The papers are from the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper pack, which is now retired. Of course you can use any paper pack that you like for this project. I'm trying to use up some of my retired products. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm using soft suede cardstock for my box today. Now you need one full 12 by 12 inch piece for the base, and then the lid can be cut from your normal size cardstock. Starting with the base, I'm going to score this on all sides at 4 inches. Then I'll switch to the lid and I'm going to score this on all sides at 2 inches. The base section is now made up of 9 scored squares. I'm going to cut the corner sections to create tabs. So I'm going to cut up the score line, and I'm actually cutting just to the left of the score line because I want to remove the score line. So I'll cut up to the horizontal score line, and then because it's a tab, I'm going to notch each of the sides. So that's making a small slanted cut on each side. So you're just taking away a little piece. Then I'm going to rotate my cardstock and repeat for the next corner. So I'll cut up that score line just to the left of it and then make a slanted cut on each side of the tab that's been created. Then I'll rotate and repeat for the next 2 corners. So your base section should end up looking like this. The lid section is treated in exactly the same way. You still have your 9 sections, and I'm going to create tabs on each corner by cutting just to the left of that score line and then making a slanted cut on either side of the little tab that's created. Now, if you don't want to rotate your cardstock to create your next corner tab, you don't have to. I tend to only do that when I'm working with large pieces. But again, it doesn't matter if you do want to rotate before you cut your next corner tab. I'm going to keep this piece looking like my base, so I'm going to rotate each time before I create the corner tab. I can now fold on all the scored lines and burnish them with my bone folder. These are all the mats I need to decorate my box. First of all, I have 5 pieces of old olive cardstock, all the same size. That's 4 pieces for the box sides and 1 piece for the top of the lid. And then 4 more pieces of old olive card, and these are for the lid sides. The papers I'm using are from the Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper pack, and I have 4 pieces for the base sides, and then I have 4 pieces for the lid sides. Now these will all be layered onto the old olive panels, just so a thin border of old olive is showing all the way round. Now I have a white panel here which is the same size of the Square Designer Series paper pieces, and I've embossed it. And I use the Into the Clouds embossing folder, which is one of our thinner folders. Now I'm going to go ahead and layer all these pieces together off camera, and then I'll come back to you. I can now go ahead and position all the panels onto the box base and the box lid. Now you have to be a little bit careful if you've got a one-way design of positioning these panels correctly. Mine have a one-way design. They're actually trees, although it's not clear to see that with this pattern. So I need to make sure that the bottom of my panel is towards the center section on the base. Okay, then they'll all be up the right way when the box is complete. The lid panels are positioned in a similar way. These also have a one-way design, but this time I need to ensure that the top of the design is towards the center of the lid. So when the lid is constructed, they'll all be up the right way. So this is what my lid and my base section now look like. I can now go ahead and put these pieces together. You do this in the same way for each of these pieces. So add glue to one corner tab in turn, and then just position it against the adjacent side section. Now with the base, the tab will completely cover the side section, apart from those notches that you removed earlier. So effectively it reinforces the box for you, which means that it's much stronger than normal. Now if you wanted to, you could cut these tabs, say, into a third of the size, which will make them easier to handle, but it won't then reinforce the box as efficiently. I'm just leaving mine the size they are. Now repeat this for each of the corners, making sure that all of the corners stay completely square as you go. And then once the base is complete, do the whole thing again for the lid. This is the Sweet Songbird stamp set, and I'm going to be using many of the images today. I'm also using lots of ink pads, starting with Memento Tuxedo Black Ink, Soft Suede, Crumb Cake and Old Olive, Orchid Oasis, Rich Raspberry, Coastal Cabana, Blushing Bride and Crushed Curry. I'm going to start by stamping the branch in soft suede ink, and I need 2 of these. The leaves that will join the branch will be in Old Olive. The nest will be first inked up using Crumb Cake ink, and then I'm going to rock and roll the stamp onto the soft suede ink pad just to pick up colour round the sides and the bottom of the nest. My larger bird will be stamped using Orchid Oasis ink. Now this is a new ink pad and it's very juicy, so I'm going to prep it by pressing the ink into the ink pad using an old bone folder. This will remove the ink from the surface of the pad and give you much better results when you stamp with it. You only really need to do this when you're using a block stamp. This larger bird will be the one that can be punched out. Now the underbelly is going to be stamped using Coastal Cabana, and then the eyes in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. The little wing will also be in Coastal Cabana ink, and the beak in Crushed Curry. The smaller bird will be stamped using Rich Raspberry ink. The little wing will be in Blushing Bride, and again the beak is in Crushed Curry. The eyes are Memento Tuxedo Black, and the underbelly is again Blushing Bride. The branches, the nest and the small bird will all have to be cut out by hand. All the other elements can be punched out using the Songbird Builder Punch. If you're having trouble reaching the images when you're trying to punch them out, if you cut the pieces back and then attach them to a post-it note, you can line them up much easier. I've gone ahead and hand cut the rest, and now I have all the elements I need to complete my top panel. I've also added dimensionals to the back of the larger bluebird, the small wings, and around the edges of the nest. I've left the top clear. The first thing I want to do is add the little beaks to the birds. I tend to lose these tiny little pieces, so I want to get them stuck on now. I've already layered my embossed white panel onto my old olive panel, but I should have actually waited because I wanted to add some colour to the white panel first of all. I'm going to use Balmy Blue ink and a blending brush, and because this is a light colour it won't actually show on the old olive anyway, so I'm okay in this instance. I'm picking up the ink with my brush, and then I'm just taking off the excess just to make sure there's not too much sat on the brush tips. And then I'm going to apply this around the embossed clouds, so this will look a bit like the sky. So I'm just picking up the ink, taking off the excess and then applying it to the sky pieces on this embossed white panel. And if you just apply a little at a time and gradually build up the colour, you can control the depth of colour that you want. And once you're happy, you can stop. I'm going to spend just a little time working out where I want to place all these images. There's quite a few pieces and the panel isn't particularly large, so I want to get them all in the best possible way. And then once I'm happy with everything, I can start sticking them down. The completed panel can then be glued on top of the lid. And that's my box complete. It's a really good size for a gift or just sweet treats. Of course, I made a coordinating card to go with it. The sentiment comes from the same stamp set. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.